What, again?
Yeah.
Gets a little tiresome, doesn't it?
Yeah. Irksome.
Dennis, we gotta tell that guy what to put on the door.
If you'd be quiet, Blackie, maybe I could think of something. Oh, hello, Eve. We're out of business again, Cupcake. Got any new angles up your pretty sleeve?
Only one, but it's terrific.
Pilgrim Lady by Iris Fabian.
Sounds like a story.
It is, and what a story. Don't you see, Dennis? You don't have to stop publishing Candid Confessions after all.
What do you mean, stop? We never started. Everything we do is just a name on the door.
What's the gag, Eve?
No gag, it came in the mail. And since Mr. Maxwell only publishes textbooks, he asked me to return this little novel to the author.
Little?
I happened to glance at the first page last night, and the next thing I knew it was morning, I'd read the whole thing.
You mean it's that good?
Oh, good, it's sensational.
But publishing a historical novel in a confession magazine, why, well, even the title's all wrong. Pilgrim Lady.
Don't let the title fool you. What happens after that little pilgrim steps off Plymouth Rock is really something.
Say, things were pretty good even before Plymouth Rock.
You mean that scene on the deck of the Mayflower?
Yeah.
That's nothing. Wait till you read why they had the first Thanksgiving.
I'm sold already.
You can always change the title.
How about The Passionate Pilgrim?
No, this title stays. We're not going to sell that story as a candid confession.
Oh, but Dennis, that's
Now,
what...
look, Eve. People can get all the thrills they want at any magazine stand in the country at 15 cents. But give them the same kind of thrills at $3 a copy, and they call it literature, and what do you got? A bestseller. We got something to put on the door. Dennis Carter, literary agent. Blackie, go tell...
Before you do that, don't you think you ought to consult your first client?
Huh?
The author of Pilgrim Lady, Iris Fabian.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll see her right away. Tie her up with a contract. Where's she live?
Hey, I want to mark my place.
Miss Iris Fabian, 915 Willow Road, Cummingstown, Ohio.
Well, what's the matter with that?
He couldn't afford the trip if she lived in Brooklyn.
Well, write her a letter. I'll take it.
Iris Fabian. What a phony name.
Sounds good.
Well, I hope she looks good.
Oh, she doesn't need to look good. She's a writer.
But we'll need publicity, and if she's got a face the papers can't print...
Blackie's right. She's got to be good looking. Iris Fabian, the author with youth, glamour, everything. Why, we can even hint at the fact that she didn't just write that story. She lived it. Why, we can publicize her to the skies.
Yeah, let's pray that little Iris has what it takes.
Let's just pray that little Iris has what it takes to buy her own ticket to New York. What about that letter?
Oh, yes, the letter. Miss Iris Fabian, 915 Willow Road, Cummingston, Ohio.
Good morning, Henrietta.
Good morning, Aunt Phoebe.
Good morning, everybody.
Millicent.
Well, you needn't look so horrified.
Prepared us for the shock. It's an event having you with us for breakfast.
Is there something wrong?
No, sister dear. Something's wonderful.
What?
I'll tell you about it later.
No mail today? Papa's gotten to get it.
Oh, so that's it. You're expecting a letter.
Oh, heavens, no. I only thought when people got up for breakfast, they usually read their morning mail along with it.
That all depends on Papa.
The way you two cater to Papa, it's a crime.
Papa.
Well, Millicent, my dear, how nice to have you with us. Good morning, Phoebe.
Good morning, Albert.
Morning, Henrietta.
Morning, Papa.
Comfortable, darling?
Yes, indeed. But you should come to breakfast more often, Millicent.
What a lovely iris.
Iris? You mean iridescei.
You and your Latin names for flowers. It's an iris, a perfectly exquisite one. Like an orchid, almost. May I wear it today?
Why, of course, my dear. But you should be wearing a real orchid today.
What in the world so special about today?
You'll find out, won't they, Papa?
When we decide to tell them, they will. The mail will be read after breakfast this morning, Henrietta.
Yes, Papa.
Why don't you forget books for a change? Enjoy your vacation.
Oh, I will. I just signed up for the special seminar in early American history.
Special seminar, indeed. Summer's not the time for special seminars. Summer is the...
Baby, please remember, you are the Dean of Women.
I never forget my position, Albert. But I also believe in rest and relaxation for all students, and myself. I've planned my usual little trip for the summer, and I'm leaving next week.
Oh, no, Aunt Phoebe. You most certainly are not.
And why not?
Shall we tell him our little secret, Papa? I'm going to be married.
Millicent, when?
In 2 weeks. So you see, I simply can't manage without you and Aunt Phoebe.
I thought Harvey Ballard had left for California for the summer.
Oh, I'm not marrying Harvey Ballard. I'm going to marry Wayne.
Wayne Talbot?
Wayne Talbot the third.
I'll get it. Oh,
Well, what a clumsy girl you are.
I'm sorry, Papa.
I'll answer it.
Iris Fabian.
What did you say about the iris, Albert?
I didn't say anything about Iris. I was merely reading the name on this envelope. Miss Iris Fabian. And it's been sent to this address.
Iris Fabian. There's a girl named Iris, graduated in the class of 37. Iris Potts. Remember her, Albert? Rather a tall girl, heavy set.
may I see the letter, Aunt Phoebe?
Certainly, dear.
Not that it matters. I just want to see who sent it. It's from Suite 5506, Packer Building, New York.
Well, we'll send it right back to Suite 5506.
Well, I can drop it in the mailbox as I go to school.
Never mind, I'll take care of it. Bye-bye, Oscar.
Goodbye, Professor Rankin.
Henrietta.
Oh, go away, Aunt Phoebe. Please go away.
Oh, my goodness, child, what's the matter? Is it Millicent and Wayne? Why must she have everything you want?
Oh, don't blame Millicent. She didn't know. Nobody knew. Not even Wayne. Well, he didn't even look at me when I helped him in chemistry so they wouldn't take him off the football team. He didn't even suspect that we were always together. In my dreams.
Why didn't you let him suspect?
How could a girl like me talk about love? How could I talk about anything except the symbol for sulfuric acid or what year the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock?
Plymouth Rock?
Oh, Aunt Phoebe, I just can't stay for the wedding. I won't.
Henrietta, I may leave on that trip even sooner than I expected this summer. I'll tell you all about it just as soon as I finish reading this letter. Hello?
This is Dennis Carter calling from New York. I want to speak to Miss Iris Fabian.
Well, this is... Well, she's not here just now. Can she call you back? Or might I take a message?
Yes. Tell her it's imperative that I see her before she discusses her plans with any other literary agent. You see, in my letter, I don't believe I made it clear that I'm fully prepared to finance Miss Fabian's trip to New York.
You're prepared, and don't forget that this entitles me to 10% of the profits.
Tell her that it's urgent that I see her as soon as possible on account of the unusual publicity campaign we have in mind. It all depends on her. By the way, tell me, is she young, good-looking, and what?
He means, has she got the same kind of appeal as her book?
Well, I'm afraid the woman you mention is... Yes, she's young. She's young, and she'll be in New York a week from today. Goodbye. Oh, it's a cinch you haven't got it now.
Haven't got what?
But you do have possibilities.
Possibilities. Aunt Phoebe, why are you staring at me like that?
That man on the phone mentioned a certain kind of appeal. I told him you had it.
What man? What kind of appeal?
I'd better start at the beginning. Henrietta, I've written a book.
Oh, Aunt Phoebe, how wonderful. What kind?
A novel. Pilgrim Lady. Historical novel. I took a nom de plume. Iris Fabian. When we get to New York, dear, you'll be Iris Fabian.
Oh, no, Aunt Phoebe.
Oh, yes, Henrietta. I'll call Dr. Beacons and tell him what to prescribe for a nervous breakdown.
Who's having a nervous breakdown?
You are, because that's the only way we'll ever get out of here before Millicent's wedding.
Oh, but you can't go. You've got to stay for my wedding.
You heard what the doctor said, Millicent. Say it again, Dr. Beacons.
Henrietta should rest here a few days, long enough to regain her strength, and then go somewhere where she can have absolute quiet and peace. I suggest a place called Lonesome Lodge in the wilds of Maine.
So you see, what else can we do?
But there are a million things you could do. Address wedding invitations, plan the reception, see the caterers work on my trousseau. Oh, Papa, make them stay. And you standing there without saying a word, you'd think we're already married.
Well, Now, Millicent, be calm. Be calm.
Now, Millicent, be calm. Be calm.
Well, Phoebe, are you satisfied?
You may overcharge me outrageously.
Oh, there won't be any bill. The prescription was your own idea. But it sounds awful to me. Lonesome Lodge.
Is there really a place called Lonesome Lodge?
Lonesome Lodge? Oh, my, yes. A friend of mine owns it. I'll send her some letters to mail to your father and Millicent at regular intervals.
But, Aunt Phoebe, I can't understand all this secrecy.
You will when you read the book. I mean, as Dean of Women. Well, I prefer to remain anonymous. That's why I took a nom de plume.
Iris Fabian. How did you happen to think of such a romantic name?
I chose Iris for the lovely iris that grow outside my bedroom window.
And Fabian?
I saw the name on a wine bottle. In the pantry. It's a wine cook uses for flavoring.
Aunt Phoebe, where's this all going to end?
In a new life for you, Henrietta.
And you?
I'm afraid I saw the name on that wine bottle 30 years too late.
Don't you find that rather monotonous?
Yes, and irritatingly repetitious, too.
Would you mind opening the door, please?
Yeah, the door. Oh, the door. Yes, of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My boss doesn't know it, but he's lending you some more literary atmosphere. And I hope you like the way I autographed these photographs. Sinclair Lewis, Ernest Hemingway.
We're trying to think up a new angle.
And just why do you need a new angle?
More rejection slips. That makes it unanimous. Every publisher in New York has turned down Pilgrim Lady flattered in our bankroll.
And they pan it, especially the Sherman Publishing Company.
They would. After all, this is the kind of stuff Sherman likes to publish.
Well, who wouldn't publish a book that's been selected as Literary Gem of the Month? Literary Gem of the Month. Eve.
Eve, why couldn't
Pilgrim Lady be selected the literary gem for July? Wake him up, Blackie. He's dreaming again.
So am I. About a new name for our door.
Iris Fabian arrives tonight, and I can't greet her with a stack of rejection slips. What's so impossible about Pilgrim Lady being selected a literary gem?
Well, first of all, is Clifford Latimer.
The radio commentator?
Mm-hmm. Radio commentator, critic, dilettante deluxe, lecturer, writer, and chairman of the Literary Gem Committee.
Also a connoisseur of beautiful dames.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention, Mr. Latimer dabbles in discovering fresh, new talent.
There's my angle. I'll get Latimer to discover Iris Fabian.
Oh, that should be easy, since you know him so well.
I do?
Intimately. Now, I consider that one of the chummiest autographs I've ever written.
Yes, Mr. Carter. It is true that I am interested in discovering fresh, new talent. But I've never heard of you, nor have I heard of your client, Miss Fabian. Why don't you write me a letter?
But, Mr. Latimer, a letter couldn't possibly do Miss Fabian justice. She's such a gorgeous writer. She's so young and beautiful.
Oh, really? Well, that's very interesting. But, of course, a writer's appearance has nothing to do with her writing ability. Has it? But perhaps I could arrange to meet her sometime. How about tonight?
Thank you. Good night.
Nice.
Oh, Aunt Phoebe, isn't it exciting?
Oh, yes, dear, it's wonderful. Now, you get a nice hot tub and climb right into bed.
Well, I'd rather sit up and read.
Read? Read what?
Your book. Our book. Pilgrim Lady.
Oh, that. Thought you read it on the train.
You know very well I didn't read it on the train. Every time I wanted to, you said it was either time to get up, or time to eat, or time to go to bed. And now that I'm in New York, I haven't read one word of the story I was supposed to have written.
Oh, well, you'll have plenty of time to read it.
But I'm meeting Mr. Carter tomorrow.
That's why your rest is more important. He seems more interested in your appearance. Now, get your bath and hop into bed so we can get up early and shop. You need a complete new wardrobe and a general overhauling before we meet Mr. Carter tomorrow. Hello? No, you. Hello. Hello. He's on his way up now.
Who?
Mr. Carter?
But I haven't read the book yet.
Oh, stop saying that. Just help me do something about the way you look.
Well, what will I wear?
That's right. What will you wear?
What about the dress Millicent bought for me to wear to wedding?
That's right. He's here.
Yes.
Well, what'll we do?
Well, might as well let him come in.
Well, but... Well, make yourself as beautiful as you can. How do you do? Please come in.
Thank you. You're not...
No, I'm her aunt.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. That Miss Fabian has such a charming aunt. I'm Dennis Carter.
Oh, how do you do?
I've come to take Miss Fabian to meet Clifford Latimer.
The famous Clifford Latimer?
Madam, there is only one Clifford Latimer.
Oh, but Miss Fabian isn't... She really isn't prepared to meet a man like Mr. Latimer on such short notice.
Any girl who can write a story like Pilgrim Lady is prepared to meet anyone. My partner was saying last night we ought to print it on asbestos.
Please, you mustn't. After all, Pilgrim Lady is merely fiction.
Well, whether it is or whether it's not, we just won't tell the public. We'll let them guess. And when we unload our publicity campaign, will they start guessing? We're going to make Iris Fabian a household name. Yes, sir? The whole wide world will start guessing about Iris Fabian, the most beautiful, the most glamorous
How do you do? Well,
Miss Fabian, you're such a surprise. I mean, you're coming in like this is such a surprise. There's something else I'd like to talk over with your aunt first. Alone. Do you mind?
oh, no. No.
I know, Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter, I know, I understand. I told you she'd be everything you'd expect, and she will be if you'll just give us time. Tomorrow...
We can't wait until tomorrow. Your niece's novel's been turned down by every publisher in New York. This afternoon, I sold Mr. Latimer on the idea of having dinner with Iris Fabian, but he expects her to be beautiful. A real stunner. A knockout. We've got to keep that appointment if it means hiring someone else to be Iris Fabian for tonight.
You mean a model?
A model, nothing. We'll get Eve Standish, a business associate of mine. Now, don't worry. Miss Fabian will get all the credit and all the royalties. I'll call you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Henrietta, you mustn't be hurt.
I'm not hurt, Aunt Phoebe. Not anymore. It's just that I didn't like the way he looked at me. Back home, I was always behind Millicent. Didn't matter how I looked. I didn't expect to be seen. But when a strange man looks at me for the first time and Millicent isn't standing there and they see just me, why, they seem to turn pale when they do. Aunt Phoebe, there's going to be only one Iris Fabian. Me. And I'm going to meet Mr. Latimer. Good.
This is the penthouse. Mr. Latimer's in apartment B.
Thank you. Oh,
I beg your
sorry.
pardon.
Mr. Latimer, I hope I'm in time. They haven't arrived yet, have they? Mr. Carter, Miss Standish. Only they won't call her Miss Standish. They'll call her Miss Fabian because they didn't think I was beautiful enough to meet you.
What is it, Noel?
Noel.
I'm the butler. That is Mr. Latimer.
How do you do?
How do you do? I'm awfully sorry. You have such a kind face. Mr. Latimer, I'm Iris Fabian.
Well, you needn't have come incognito.
Oh, I'm not incognito. This is the way I really look all the time. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I can't help it. No one can. So you see, you mustn't blame Mr. Carter. He didn't know. He thought I was gorgeous and glamorous. But even if I was, it needn't make the book any better or worse, need it? Writers shouldn't have to look like movie stars. Oh, Mr. Latimer, please, can't you forget what I look like and read Pilgrim Lady? It means so much to someone. And to Mr. Carter, too. Will you, Mr. Latimer?
Sit down. Do you really need these spectacles?
Oh, yes, I'm nearsighted. When I don't wear them, I make terrible mistakes. In school, that is. I can't tell one classroom from another. What an interesting room. And so charming, too. And you? Why, you're not at all like I expected you'd be. Why, you're handsome. And young.
You certainly don't need these spectacles.
Oh, they're here. The other Iris Fabian is here, the beautiful one.
Stay right where you are.
Well, here she is.
So I see.
Mr. Latimer, meet Miss Iris Fabian.
Thank you, but I've already met Miss Fabian.
You have? What? I don't recall.
Well, naturally you wouldn't. I met her several minutes before you arrived. Oh, Miss Fabian.
Why, you...
I'm recommending Miss Fabian's novel as a possibility for the literary gem for July.
Why, you... Huh?
You did say something about Miss Fabian having written a novel, didn't you, Mr. Carter?
Pilgrim Lady.
Splendid. The literary world can use fresh and new talent. But if her work shows possibilities, our Miss Fabian will not be inflicted upon the world with false eyelashes. To correctly publicize a girl of Miss Fabian's character, her elfin personality must be retained. Her wardrobe must be simple, yet exquisite, chosen by someone with taste.
Why not you, Mr. Latimer?
Who else? And of course we must capitalize upon her elusive charm, the elusive charm of innocent youth.
Have you read the book?
Not yet. And since I'm to broadcast in 1 hour, I cannot do so tonight.
Noel! Yes, Mr. Latimer?
Oh, there you are. Thank you. Now come, my little protégé. We shall dine together as you planned. Why, the poor little girl hasn't even got a wrap.
I beg pardon, sir. The uncalled for mink.
You know very well that mink is out of season. Will you allow me?
Oh, of course.
I want the other members of the Literary Gem Committee to read Pilgrim Lady tonight. You will send them all copies at once. Well, my dear, where would you like to dine?
Oh, wherever you say, Mr. Latimer. You know so much about everything.
There, that's lovely. Everything is charged to you, Mr. Latimer.
No. You'll charge Miss Fabian's clothes to Miss Fabian and send the bill to me. I'm her manager.
Yes, sir.
That is, if I still am your manager after last night.
You certainly are.
Thank you. In that case, we have several things to talk over.
They make such an attractive couple.
Yes.
They're both so young.
You must be tired after those fittings, Iris. Let's go somewhere for tea.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Latimer, but Miss Fabian has an appointment at the photographer's in just 5 minutes.
How nice. Mr. Latimer's been trying to find time to read Pilgrim Lady, hasn't you, Mr. Latimer?
Yes.
I'll get you a copy of the manuscript.
I have a copy at home.
Oh, if you insist. I suppose you will be more comfortable reading it there. I'm sorry you have to brush Iris away like this, Mr. Carter, but we'll just have to accustom ourselves to fame, won't we?
Just a minute. I want Miss Fabian's portraits done with care. I don't want any of these exotic Hollywood poses.
Don't worry, old boy. I, too, understand elusive charm.
Where's the music coming from?
The Twilight Room?
Why, the people are dancing.
Sure.
In the afternoon?
Well, haven't you ever danced in the afternoon?
I've never danced.
Oh, come now. You can stop putting on an act with me.
An act?
You heard what I said. Relax. Take it easy. Have fun. Shall we try it?
Oh, no, I can't. Mr. Carter.
Dennis.
Dennis, what did you mean about my putting on an act?
Just what I said. Ah, you're a smart baby, Iris. Here I was all set to give you the glamour build-up, and you play it strictly from the cornfield. Wide-eyed innocence. Bewildered little girl. Big, bad city. Oh, you're wonderful.
I am?
Oh, stop giving me the business. You know you're wonderful. And you've hooked Latimer, and that's what we need. Except what'll actually happen when he reads Pilgrim Lady. Especially Chapter 9.
What's wrong with Chapter 9?
Not a thing. It's terrific. But when he reads it, will he still believe in your innocent manner?
Oh, there you are, dear. Mr. Carter just phoned. He's in the lobby. Seemed very worried about something.
Mr. Carter could stay in the lobby and worry about something. And Phoebe, I want to read Pilgrim Lady.
Oh, there isn't time, dear. You know Mr. Latimer's coming to take us to dinner.
I want to read Pilgrim Lady. And I don't want to read it after dinner, dear, or after breakfast, dear, or after Mr. Latimer leaves, dear. I want to read it right now.
Oh, did you hurt yourself, dear?
Don't change the subject. Give me that manuscript immediately.
Yes, Henrietta. Iris, excuse me.
After that, all that Prudence remembered was the smell of the cool grass and the hotness of John's tanned face as he bent over her. For suddenly his lips found hers, and she was powerless, unable to remember any other man, any other love but this. Later,
when the dark shadows of night crept into the little log cabin, Prudence gazed into the fire from the security of John's lean, strong arms.
Hurry and dress, dear. Mr. Latimer's here.
Aunt Phoebe, I want to talk to you.
Oh, I can't stop now. Mr. Latimer's brought Thackeray Gibbs. You know, one of the Literary Gem Committee. I can't just let them sit there alone. Don't be long, dear.
Aunt Phoebe, come here. Aunt Phoebe!
The immense value of becoming acquainted with a foreign language is that we are thereby led into a new world of tradition and thought and feeling.
How beautifully expressed.
Oh, it isn't original. Havelock Ellis.
Are you a devotee of Ellis, too?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, it's amazing how we seem to agree on so many things.
Really?
Iris, this is Thackeray Gibbs.
Miss Fabian,
How do you do, Mr. Gibbs?
I know what you're thinking, Mr. Latimer, and I don't blame you
Blame me? For what?
for what you're thinking.
Well, it does look a little more sophisticated than when you tried it on this afternoon. But I like it. Don't you?
I wasn't referring to my dress. I was referring to the book, Pilgrim Lady.
I find it fascinating. I hate to put it down. What an imagination you have, child. I think she has quite a talent for writing, don't you, Thackeray?
Yes, with a little more writing experience, yes, indeed.
Well, I guess it's time for us to leave.
Allow me.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
We must make tonight memorable, Iris. Tomorrow we announce the literary gem for July. So tomorrow you belong to the world, but tonight you belong to us.
Go ahead, darling.
Good morning, Millicent.
Good morning. It's a lovely morning, a beautiful morning. But Saturday's my wedding day, and I still have 200 invitations to address. I'm going crazy talking to caterers, florists, and ministers. It's Henrietta's fault. I bet she had that nervous breakdown just on purpose, so she wouldn't have to help me. Oh, it's here.
What's here?
My picture. Look, Papa.
Very pretty.
Saturday. And there's so much more to do. Oh, why can't Aunt Phoebe and Henrietta come home? Make them come home, Papa. Is that another letter from Lonesome Lodge?
Yes, it is.
What does Aunt Phoebe say this time?
Poor Henrietta. Can't leave her alone for a moment. Undoubtedly will remain all summer. Millicent, I can't get away. But when you and Wayne go on your honeymoon, why can't you stop off at Lonesome Lodge?
What would we do at Lonesome Lodge?
Well, you could see Henrietta.
Wayne has already bought our tickets to New York.
Our attorneys have thoroughly checked these contracts. For an advance of $10,000, Sherman & Company leases the publishing rights to your book. I've already deposited their check, less my commission, to your account.
Well, anything else?
Yes. How about having dinner together one night this week?
Well, not this week. Mr. Latimer has so many plans.
But she's free this afternoon.
Good. How about driving down to the beach for a swim?
Oh, I'd like to. Would you, Aunt Phoebe?
What a pity. I've already promised to attend one of Mr. Gibbs' lectures.
Great. I'll pick you up at 2.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Am I crowding you?
No, it's very cozy.
I didn't think you'd mind. Oh, here we are, Mr. Latimer.
Mr. Latimer.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but I had to buy a pair of bathing trunks. Well, Carter, this is a splendid idea of yours, an outing on such a nice warm day. But I wish you'd let me know sooner. I'd have had Noel pack a nice lunch for us.
Oh, Dennis, what a beautiful place.
And the view is magnificent.
So's beach. Well, come on.
You mean to say we're going to swim here?
Well, of course, that's why we came.
But it's so uncivilized. Where are the dressing room facilities? Where will I change?
Behind the rock.
What?
Come on, Iris. Ladies first.
I don't need a dressing room.
You don't?
At least Madame Z said I wouldn't if I wore this dress. Cute?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll meet you on top of the next wave.
Well, you can enjoy the surf dressed as a squire, Latimer. Or can it be that you're afraid of the water?
Certainly not.
Maybe you'd just like to sit in the car and listen to the radio.
No, thank you.
It's going to be pretty cold in there.
I'm more concerned about coming out. You see, I'm accustomed to my beach club, where after a swim, I always go straight to the shower and then to the steam room. And then, of course, a nice hot drink, and that prevents me from catching cold.
Nobody could catch cold on a day like this.
My dear Carter, I catch cold at the most unexpected times. I'm very susceptible. The colds I catch are dreadful. I'm sometimes obliged to spend as much as 2 or 3 weeks in bed.
Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Come on in!
Yoo-hoo. Well, here I go.
Two or 3 weeks, huh?
But who could have taken my clothes? There wasn't a single soul on the beach. I can't understand it.
I can't understand why the top won't go up.
Well, you know how hard I tried to make it work.
I still don't know why they stole my clothes and not yours.
The thief, no doubt, was a connoisseur of excellent material.
What's that?
Mustard plaster.
Oh. Oh!
That's fine. Now let's put his feet in the water.
Why?
Come on.
Down this way, sir.
That's it.
Oh!
By morning, you won't even know he had a cold.
Do you think you'll survive this treatment, miss?
Of course.
What's that?
Good for you. Here. Just let him soak for 10 minutes and put him to bed.
Yes, miss.
Good night, Mr. Latimer.
I'll see you out, miss.
No, don't bother. I can let myself out. You take care of Mr. Latimer.
Oh, yes, miss.
Good night, Noel.
Good night, miss.
She's not like our other literary discoveries, is she, Noel?
Now that you mention it, sir, she's one of the most unusual we've ever had. The dazzling brunettes, the satiny-shouldered redheads, the ambitious blondes. Oh, they were wonderful, wonderful memories, sir. But, if I may say so, sir, I think we ought to marry this one.
If we live.
Why, Dennis, you didn't have to wait for me.
Wait for you? I'm waiting for a bulletin on Latimer's condition. Think I'd stand here and wait for you for 2 hours and 43 minutes?
How did you get the top up?
Waiting for you gave me a strength I didn't know I had. Come on, I'm driving you home.
For years, I read about people riding around New York on a night like this. I never dreamed it would happen to me.
Thank heavens I found something Latimer missed.
You don't like him, do you?
You? I mean, are you in love with him?
No.
I like him. He's a nice guy, and I'm sorry for what I did.
You should be. Where are his clothes?
In the back seat.
He might have caught pneumonia.
Yeah.
I should be very angry with you.
Yep.
But I'm not. Because he won't catch pneumonia. Aunt Phoebe's remedy always works.
Well, it should. After 2 hours and 43 minutes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. There's something else I'm sorry for. Something I've been trying to explain for 2 weeks, but every time I try, Clifford Latimer's around grinning like a Cheshire cat. It's about that afternoon in the Twilight Room. Well, on account of some of the things you wrote in your book, I guess I jumped to conclusions about the kind of a girl you aren't.
I understand. I've seen it in the eyes of every man I've met. That, Chapter 9 book. You still have it.
The way I feel about you is different. Now I know that there's only one Iris Fabian.
What?
I know that you're not putting on an act. That you really are sweet and lovely and wonderful. What's more, I know that I love you. But you're famous, and I want to marry a woman, not a career. I'm in love with you, not your money.
What money?
What money? Don't you listen when I discuss your bank balance? Don't you listen when I tell you about Hollywood? Now they're offering you $2,000 a week to come out there and write.
Write what?
Write what? What do you suppose they want you to write? Stories. Stories for movies.
But I don't want to write stories for movies.
You don't?
Well, no, I can't. I mean, no, of course not.
Would you give it all up just to be Mrs. Dennis Carter?
Well,
Would you?
Oh, yes, Dennis. I would if I could, but I can't. I've got to be Iris Fabian.
And Phoebe, just getting back from the lecture?
Yes, I'd no idea lectures could be so interesting.
What's the matter, Mr. Gibbs?
Well, your aunt seems to have disappeared.
Going up.
But you two go ahead. I'll wait for her.
Going up.
Going up? Floors, please.
21.
21. This is your floor, Mrs. Talbot.
This is your floor, dear.
Henrietta! Oh, I'm so sorry. For a moment, I thought you were my sister.
Your sister? Great Scott, Millicent, that girl's attractive.
They're on their honeymoon. They're on their honeymoon. And I don't even care. Dennis, that means I am in love with you.
She must feel another book coming on.
Good morning, Iris. My dear girl, that peculiar torture you call Aunt Phoebe's cold remedy is positively amazing. Last night I had to cancel my broadcast, but today I'm a well man, completely cured. This calls for a celebration.
Dine with you tonight?
No, Millicent might see us.
No, Melissa might see us. I mean, oh, Clifford, we just can't leave our hotel.
All right, dear, then we'll dine at your hotel, in the Twilight Room. It doesn't matter where we dine. And Iris, I have a very special surprise for you. What time shall we have dinner?
Oh, Clifford, I don't know. I'll call you back. All right, goodbye.
Henrietta, we can't go anywhere.
I know.
Well, why didn't you tell him? Henrietta, you must learn to assert yourself.
Did you assert yourself when Thackeray Gibbs invited you to go to the planetarium?
Yes.
Then why is he waiting for you now in the lobby?
Because, well, Thackeray's so impulsive. There are times when he simply refuses to take no for an answer. Oh, if I could only get to that lobby without running into Millicent. There must be a back stairway. If I could only slip out.
Oh, no, Aunt Phoebe. We slipped enough when we slipped away to New York before Millicent's wedding. If she ever finds out that we lied to her about Lonesome Lodge and my nervous breakdown and that we've been here having the time of our lives, that would be the end of everything. She'd expose us to Clifford Latimer and to Dennis and... Who is it?
I have a package for Miss Iris Fabian from Madame Lissette, I think. Would you sign here, please? Thank you.
Henrietta, what's the matter?
Shh, it's Millicent. She saw me.
Oh, boy. What's the name of the girl in room 2160?
The famous new writer, Iris Fabian.
Iris Fabian?
Hmm?
The resemblance is uncanny. Thank you.
Gone.
She'll be back.
Not for a while. Now's my chance to meet Thackeray.
Oh, Aunt Phoebe, please be careful.
I will, dear.
But I tell you, Wayne, that girl looked exactly like Henrietta. You should have seen her just now with those glasses on. If she and Aunt Phoebe have been in New York enjoying themselves while I was home slaving over my wedding, I'll kill them.
What if she's a famous writer? She can't be Henrietta.
Oh, I guess it was just my guilty conscience. It was mean of me to tell Papa we wouldn't go to Lonesome Lodge and see Henrietta. And if she's really having a nervous breakdown... Oh, Wayne, do you think it's too late?
I think you need a drink.
I'd like to send a telegram, please.
Yes, Mrs. Talbot.
Millicent, wasn't that your Aunt Phoebe?
It certainly was.
But you didn't even say hello. You know, Millicent, you're not very considerate of older people.
Was Aunt Phoebe considerate of me when I needed her? No, she took Henrietta and walked out. They didn't want to help with the wedding, and that's why they did it. But they'll be sorry. Lonesome Lodge, is it? Well, it won't be lonesome much longer.
Hi, Dennis. Sit down and dish me some dirt for my column.
Sorry, Nell, I can't stop right now. I'll see you later. May I cut in? Thanks, pal. Yes, I know. I should be doing more Pilgrim Lady publicity, but how can a man concentrate on work when his fiancée is out dancing with that intellectual wolf?
His fiancée?
Yes. Iris, let's get married right away.
You sort of suggested that last night, but you talked yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm. But then you kissed me. Now I don't care if you have 10 million careers. Let them call me Mr. Iris Fabian. I love you.
Cliffy, darling.
Well, if it isn't our little Nell. The happy look in your eyes can only mean one thing. You found a nice, clean reputation to crucify in your column tomorrow.
Cliffy, I may be a venomous old gossip, but I am touched by young romance. Aren't they dreamy?
Oh, no wonder you're always being sued for libel. He's merely her manager. They're discussing business.
I wish my city editor would discuss business with me that way.
Now, listen, Nell, you can't make a romance out of that. Because confidentially...
Oh, I love that word. Go on, Cliffy.
Confidentially, the ring is in my pocket, and she'll be wearing it on her finger after the next dance.
Oh, you darling.
What's the matter?
My goodness.
Dennis,
Yes, dear?
everything would be perfect without my career, wouldn't it?
You mean you'd give it up?
If I only could.
That's right. No one who's ever tasted success ever give it up.
But I've got to give mine up. And when I tell you why, I hope you'll still feel the same about me. Aunt Phoebe, what's wrong?
Your father's here.
Papa's here? Where?
Aunt Phoebe!
Where?
Iris!
Close the door, quick.
I thought you saw Aunt Phoebe.
But I did.
Millicent, dear, the excitement of the wedding, that is the tension. Ah, it must have been an illusion.
It was no illusion. It was Phoebe. That room across the hall from us. The girl who looked like Henrietta.
But you know who she is, that famous novelist.
Maybe. Aunt Phoebe. Open this door, Aunt Phoebe.
Millicent, please.
You'll break the door.
I don't care what I break.
Desperate, please. This is Miss Fabian. There's a woman in the hall that's been annoying me all day. She claims my aunt is a long-lost relative. And now she's trying to break into my suite. Can you do something?
I certainly can.
Good morning, Hotel Maurice. I'm sorry, Mr. Latimer. Miss Fabian still doesn't want to be disturbed. Yes, I've given her all your messages. All 85 of them. Good morning, Hotel Maurice. Oh, it's you again, Mr. Carter. I'm sorry, I can't ring Miss Fabian's suite.
Henrietta, let's stay.
The train for Cummingstown leaves in a half hour.
The day of reckoning has come, Henrietta. We can face it together.
But it isn't as simple as that, Aunt Phoebe. If we confess we're frauds, we'd only be making a fool out of dear sweet Clifford Latimer. And the Literary Gem Committee. They'd be disgraced forever. And poor Papa. What would happen if it were known that Professor Rankin's daughter wrote a risque novel?
But his daughter didn't write it. And what do you mean, risque?
If we told who did, both you and Papa would be expelled from Cummingstown College.
You forget to mention what would happen to Dennis Carter.
There's nothing left for us to do but disappear. Go back to Cummingstown and pray that we get there before Millicent and Papa.
He's in love with you, Henrietta.
He's in love with Iris Fabian.
And when he finds out I'm Iris Fabian, I suppose he'll fall in love with me.
You tell him?
If you don't, I will. Go on. Call him. Tell him the truth. You started to last night when I came along, dragged you away. You came to New York with a broken heart, Henrietta. You're not going home with one.
What, Phoebe? Scold me some more. Make me call him.
Dennis, why didn't you tell me?
It's in the newspapers?
Nell Brown's column. Isn't it wonderful?
You're wonderful.
Am I?
Yes. I didn't want to tell you until I made sure. I just asked her to marry me last night. I'm going crazy waiting for her answer.
You are? Could this be your answer?
Iris Fabian has another sparkling idea. Not a literary gem. This time a Latimer gem, which is now glistening on her engagement finger.
Mr. Carter's office.
This is Miss Fabian.
Oh, yes, Miss Fabian. Darling, it's for you.
Hello.
Hello, Dennis. Could you come right over? I have something very important to tell you.
I've already heard what you have to say to me. So go get yourself another business manager, Miss Fabian, and goodbye.
Desk clerk, please. This is Miss Fabian. Send a boy for our luggage, please. We're checking out.
Yes, Miss Fabian, I will. And, by the way, Miss Fabian, I don't like to indulge in idle gossip, but that woman who was annoying you last night, yes, Mrs. Talbot, the one that moved from here so unexpectedly. Well, Mrs. Talbot and her husband and that man she calls Papa, well, they've been sitting here since early this morning watching the elevators. I think they work in shifts.
You can still send that boy for our luggage. A small boy. In fact, a size 12. Thank you.
Get me a sandwich, Wayne.
Why don't you have lunch in the restaurant, dear?
Because Papa's asleep. And there are times when I suspect you wouldn't recognize your own mother outside the city limits of Cummingston. Lettuce and tomato on whole wheat.
Yes, dear.
Grand Central Station.
Okay, son. Man.
Phoebe!
Zachary!
Good heavens, woman, what have you done with yourself? And where are you going?
Back to Cummingstown.
And Phoebe.
Oh, it's all right, dear. He knows our secret.
Goodbye, Mr. Gibbs. Come on, Aunt Phoebe.
No, Phoebe, you can't go.
She can't stay here.
She can.
We've got to disappear.
I don't know about you, but Phoebe can disappear right here in New York. I've told you before, my dear, there's plenty of room in my apartment.
Mr. Gibbs.
My dear young lady, I intend to marry Phoebe first. After all, we have this.
The day we were so late getting back from the lecture.
A marriage license. Oh. Goodbye. Hello, Oscar.
Miss Henrietta.
Say, that Lonesome Lodge must be quite a place. Good I didn't go down the train to meet you. I wouldn't have recognized you.
You knew I was coming.
Yep, he said you'd be along.
Oh, is Papa here?
No, a fella from New York. Don't know his name, but he's waiting inside to see you.
Hello. Would you care for some tea?
No, thank you.
Well, we never serve cocktails here. Perhaps there's some wine on the pantry shelf. Some Fabian wine. How did you find out?
I was in the lobby of your hotel threatening to murder the manager unless he told me what had happened to you. Naturally, that attracted the attention of some interesting people, including some policemen and a Professor Albert Rankin.
What are you going to do?
Iris, Henrietta, or whatever name you happen to be calling yourself by at this particular moment, I'm going to marry you.
Marry me? After all the terrible things I've done.
What you've done to my blasé heart isn't terrible. It's thrilling. I love you.
I love you too, Clifford. Like a father.
Oh, that's wonderful. You love me? Like a father?
I deceived you about myself, but I never meant to deceive you about my regard for you. Your friendship and understanding has been the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to me. I'd saved so much love for a father who never seemed to understand me. And then when you came along and took an interest in me, I gave that love to you. Or maybe it's because I'd already fallen in love with Dennis Carter.
You had known him before then?
No.
You two were plotting against me all the time.
No, he didn't. No, when he did, he wouldn't speak to me.
You tried to make a fool of me, but your trick won't work. I'll make a fool of you. I'll broadcast tonight from Cummingstown. I'll expose all of you. Carter, your father, your aunt. No, I can't do that to someone I love.
Clifford,
I don't need your pity. I will go on alone. To endure the emptiness. To hear the mocking laughter. No longer will I be pampered and sought after. No longer will I be the great. No longer will I be the great Clifford Latimer. The brilliance of my career will fade into cold, gray ashes. But in my heart will be a memory that no one else can know or share. The magnificent memory of the only girl I will ever love.
Clifford,
Yes?
No. No. You'll marry me. I've already asked your father's permission.
I said yes, Henrietta. Isn't that what you wanted me to say?
Oh, yes, Papa, yes.
Well, Mr. Carter, you have very sudden changes of heart, don't you?
Yes, that's right. Why do you want to marry me when you told me to get a new business manager and bang the telephone up in my ear?
Yes, explain that one.
You can't blame me for thinking what I read in Nell Brown's column was true.
Where's my hat?
What was in Nell Brown's column?
Just a little dream that will never come true. What a beautiful curtain line.
Don't be a martyr, Latimer.
I beg your pardon?
You've already lost the girl. But you can't afford to lose your prestige, remember that. You've got to explain Iris Fabian. In other words, stout fella, you need an angle.
Really?
You've already thought of exposing Iris Fabian. Now go on. Expose her in your broadcast tonight. Expose her as being your own idea. You, the great Clifford Latimer, desperate in your search for new authors, created one. You found a woman who had longed to write for years, Phoebe Rankin. You added a glamorous name and a glamorous girl, and out of it came a bestseller. Not that
I intend this as a recipe for literary success, dear listeners. No, it was merely a plan. My way of saying to hopeful writers, don't be discouraged. The world needs your talent. And I personally am always interested in fresh, new talent. So I hope the success of Iris Fabian will be an inspiration to all of you. This is Clifford Latimer bidding you good night from Cummingstown, Ohio.